Mama's in the living room watching Judge Judy. I'm in the kitchen eating leftover sushi. And she yells, oh, girl, you gotta hear this one. A man was arrested for running the theme park. And when they said, where's your license? He said, my dog ate it. Oh, you can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on her Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one. Mama loves to laugh at how absurd life is, says it's all a comedy and I'm her audience. And I love the way she makes fun of the world. She said, you'll never guess what's with their girlfriend. It was a man who didn't get us out of the bed. He said, I've been through hell and now I need some help. You just can't make this shit up. You just can't make this shit up. Sometimes I wonder if life's just one big cosmic joke. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout. It's like she's on a Reddit, reading r/funny lawsuits, yelling from the couch. As she sips on a Prosecco, makes fun of all the weirdos, and then I hear her shout, girl, you gotta hear this one.
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
And here with me today to talk Sarah Grace Patrick, the TikTok teen, say that 10 times fast, unaliving trial. Mo in the deep end. How are you, my friend?
Well, so I just kind of jumped into this and I've only done really cursory background. And then I did watch one of the bond hearing with all of the church members, and it was a bit interesting.
Welcome to Georgia.
I I do agree with Nick. I think that if they had stayed with the pastor, I think that would have been sufficient. But it does feel definitely like they're leaving some stuff out. But there's nothing from the state really, other than we have mountains of evidence. Trust us, bro.
Although, have you seen anything about the videos that she posted on TikTok between when the crime happened and when she was arrested?
No, I don't do TikTok. I mean, like if there's a TikTok on X, I'll do that, but I don't have a TikTok. I don't talk.
So, for those of you who are new to this case, Sarah Grace Patrick was 17 at the time, and her mom and stepfather were unalived in their home in Carrollton, Georgia, with her at the time, I believe, 6-year-old sister.
Yeah, five or six.
5 or 6. And the sister was the one who found them. There are certain things that don't add up to me in this case. Some things from a medical perspective. He had a VAD, an LVAD. This is a left ventricular assisted device, which means his heart didn't work.
Okay.
Might have been on a transplant. Some people use it before they're on a transplant list or when they're on a transplant list. Some people have it for life. However, I was LVAD trained, LVAD certified. I worked with patients with an LVAD. When you're changing from batteries to wall power and you unplug it, the alarms are very loud. They are meant to be loud. They are meant to be annoying so that you fix the problem.
Well, yeah. Yeah, because especially if you're tired or something, you're not aware of something becoming unplugged. Yeah.
She claims to not hear the pew pew shots. However, she has said in the past and claimed that, yes, you can hear the alarms in the house.
Well, okay.
And
Is
to
it
me, that just doesn't add up because I've used both an LVAD, not personally, but as a
yeah.
healthcare provider, and I've shot a pew pew. And yes, the LVAD is loud and annoying, but it is still not comparable to even
To
a suppressed pew pew shot.
Okay, well, here's a couple of things that maybe you didn't think. Is Carrollton County or Carroll County?
It's uh, Carrollton,
It,
Georgia, but it's Carroll County.
okay, I knew it was one or the other, but I couldn't remember which one. Is it a place where the sound of pew pews firing would kind of be normal? Could she have equated it to a firework? Because we have pew pews that sound. Now, I get that the tonal quality would be totally different inside, but I have a couple of kiddos that can sleep through, honest to God, like an actual tornado or sharknado. So I guess it doesn't make sense to me, but I will say that in the case that I am covering right now, a rewatch of the Devin Michaels case, I mean, in that situation, you had a decapitation with an electric powered saw of some kind. He was in a living room, kind of makeshift bedroom. There was a sheet over the door, and yet his mother and her boyfriend were in the house and were able to sleep through this. I mean, it's only until you go to the trial and realize that both of the other people in the house were extremely old and were hard of hearing that it makes sense. But initially, you think, yeah, no one could sleep through this. So,
And that is a really good point because Carroll County is west and a little bit south of Atlanta. So it's about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours from here. But it is a more of a rural area. So it's possible. But even in a rural area like I lived in, you didn't hear shots that often if it wasn't hunting season. And I don't think this was hunting season. I think
no,
spring. So I mean, we it, I mean,
could she
no
have
location as far as like if there's a gun club there, like a hunting club, or where
could she
things
have
might be a
mistaken it
little.
for thunder? With it being inside, would it be loud enough? Because I'm trying to, for a small child, to try to interpret these noises, she might assume it's thunder or a storm.
From what I
And
understand, the 6-year-old or the 5-year-old heard it. She just claims that at 17
oh,
she didn't hear it.
okay. Oh, well then no, that doesn't make sense. I was thinking more along the lines of what the, 5 or 6 year old was trying to interpret this going on. But yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. But what does kind of so typically in these family annihilation cases with the teenage daughter kind of being the nexus, there's usually a boyfriend involved. There's usually a forbidden relationship, usually with an older or malcontent. And, she is either the kind of passive letter inner or the driving force behind it. And yet I've not heard anyone else named.
I haven't heard anything either. There hasn't even been a lot of articles on this. Even in the state's documents, there isn't really a lot of stuff. Um, this was July 8th was the when the warrants. This is what I so we will do. I try to be
And
fancy and now I'm like confused. You know what I mean? When you get so like
what was the length of time between the incident happening and then her being arrested? Because from what I remember, it wasn't very long.
I think it was a couple of months. There we go. Search by party. So this is what I see when I look at Carroll County's docket. So this was, and I thought I had the charging documents too, but there's 2 different cases that were originally there. So search her name. This one, it's closed, but it's proceedings, discovery opt-in, motion for bond, but there was only 3 pages, and then they 3 pages of documents, and then they went to the other.
Well, because I'm wondering, because when I was researching this case early this morning, they uh, were alluding to the fact that there are motions still for the defense. There's the defense motion concerning a neuropsychologist report, and then also claims that the state hasn't turned over all discovery yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of when I started planning the stream. There was a couple of things that were just recently, oh, there's orders today.
Oh,
Look at that. I think this is not going to I think it's supposed to start Monday, but for some reason I'm having a feeling that this will be delayed because there's just
well, the allegations of lack of discovery, again, if there is mountains of digital evidence that they are wanting to bring in, then the defense has a right to look at all of that, process it, and then create a strategy, go over it with their defendant. Again,
so starting the last time I did a document review on this was like October or something.
Okay.
So, because there hasn't been a lot of stuff. So there's motions from 11/19 to like there's a lot of stuff. So she is being charged, just in case you're completely new and this is the first time you are on my channel and seeing this case at all. She is being charged with malice murder, 2 counts of malice murder, 2 counts of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of possession or fire of a firearm or knife during commission or attempt to commit certain felonies. Welcome to the vagueness of Georgia statutes.
What is I forget because Georgia has a different language. What's the difference between malice? Is it murder in the first and murder in the second?
I think so. I get confused when they say malice murder, but malice murder is, I believe, equitable to Wisconsin's first degree.
Okay. I knew they're just different terms of art, and I always forget them unless I'm in the state and I look them up for that trial.
Yeah, and I haven't really covered many Georgia cases. The first and only Georgia case that I've covered was the Lake and Riley case. And then this one, because this one was just so fascinating to me. I'm going to see if I can find her TikTok real quick.
Okay. Yeah, because like I said, I kind of pulled a couple stories from Mornings with Mo, but this year has been a crapshoot of Hagatha cooperation with, channel engagement. So
It's like when you think you're getting it under control, something else comes up, and
well, it was a tough blow to go from going to Dollywood and being really independent and not having Hagatha bother me to just flares upon flares all throughout everything. Just we had such a rainy summer, and weather changed no good, but I don't want to live in Arizona.
you can always come to Georgia. I mean,
Y'all
if you
have
can
all
stand
the
it.
season every day.
Well, So I'm going to share this tab. This was one of her TikToks after. The crime was in December of 2024.
Yeah, right now I can't feel my heart. Before you feel this, there's no place. Yeah, but you know.
And then there's and thank you, Timothy Horsley in Georgia, malice murder. Thank you, my neighbor, for Wave if you're driving today. Wave as you pass my city. Georgia, malice murder is the unlawful killing of another person with malice or forethought, meaning an intentional desire to unalive or cause serious harm or
So
act with reckless disregard.
basically, malice aforethought is premeditation. You intend to take their life versus crime of passion. You walked in on, you know, your wife and your neighbor's wife.
Like, okay, we'll go with that. Mo, I love you. You're the best.
Well, I was thinking what would irritate a Georgia person to the point that they would shoot. And I'm guessing being outduted by a woman.
Being outdated. And then Jeff is my retired law enforcement. So malice murder in Georgia's deliberate intent to kill requires a minimum of 30 years upon conviction.
I mean, at some point, I think everything's deliberate, but I like how we make distinctions.
Yeah, at a certain point, I'm trying to find the crying one. That she was on her way to. I'm gonna mute it. Like posting all these TikToks. And then there is this one.
For those of you who do not know me, my name is Sarah, and I'm Kristen Brock's daughter and James Brock's stepdaughter. This isn't easy, and I don't know how Ben and Andrew do this all the time, but I'm really happy I get to do this, but just bear with me because I stutter a lot. I just wanted to say goodbye to my mama and Jamie since we never got the chance to. I was so used to you guys always being here to the point that I never once thought to imagine y'all not being here. I didn't have a single clue how much I needed y'all until now. For James, thank you for all the life lessons you taught me and for being the best bonus dad ever. Your heart will finally be healed in heaven and neither of y'all will be in any pain anymore. Although that gives me so much comfort, your fight was not supposed to end there. And for my mother, everything we went through does not define what kind of person or what kind of mother you were. You were a beautiful, kind soul with so much gratitude and so gosh dang strong. And you taught me so many life lessons, and so many you just recently taught me were through a letter you sent to James in 2018. When I first read it, I smiled and I cried, and I got chill bumps. But every single time I read it, it puts me to a lot of peace. So I thought I would share it. May 23rd, 2018, Deuteronomy 6:5. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your strength. The wrong one will find you in peace and leave you in pieces, but the right one will find you in pieces and lead you to peace. We can't always choose the music that life plays for us, but you can choose how we dance to it. She was always dancing to her own beat, LOL. And keep in mind, she wrote that herself.
Your face right now.
It's just so it's not a you know how when you are having guttural and they're a different tone to a cry. It's the Irish call it keening. It's like a wail. It's a deep soul thing. And it's not a sound you ever want to hear. I've heard it a couple times. It's heartbreaking. But if I lost my mom and my dad at the same time and I was 17, she's not doing the, where you can't even slow down your inhale. There's not that. There's not the kind of physiological shrugging of the shoulders, the shaking. It's like a weird pantomime of grief. And you can't quite put your finger on what's not authentic about it, but you
think your face was twisted before in like the WTF face. That video was posted by her biological father. The person that she is accused of unaliving was her stepfather. But here is where it gets even weirder. I'm going to share this one.
Okay, you know what it is? You know what is so inauthentic about this? As a person who's experienced real grief, it's not something that people most generally want to parade out. You don't want to show this. You are vulnerable. It is an extremely vulnerable, almost wounded animal type thing to expose this grief. Uh, and it's not something that is performed. It's almost like a purging. It's not a comfortable, it's not a pretty thing. It's not a let me put on my mascara so I can cry.
And
It
I've
is
had
a
my
curled up
mascara
in
run.
closet, you know, guttural crying thing.
And I've had my mascara run before, and that's not how it runs, especially if you are wiping your eyes. And nobody cries like
No,
that.
your nose gets red. You start to sound like you're stuffed up. I mean, at least me. I mean, also I'm paler, so I get splotchy. So I look like I sound like a sinus infected giraffe is kind of the look. It's not a pretty cry. It's not like an Ariana Grande. No,
No,
it's
I'm not
like, do you have mumps?
John, I only use, okay, not to let you into my makeup cabinet, but I don't use waterproof mascara because there's something in it that affects my eyes and is bad. Like, it's worse for you than regular mascara. And especially if you don't take off your makeup, like you fall asleep in your makeup and it gets into your eyes. There's something about the waterproof nature and how they make it waterproof that is just that chemical does not,
Yeah.
especially my sensitive skin and sensitive eyes, I don't like it. So it's not even the waterproof. It's just this is like I
No, it
drew something on.
well, no, here's what it is. Grief is every bit, it's a weight. You can tell when people are actually grieving because they don't give a rat's ass about TikTok.
There's that too. And I've in another streamer when I first brought these up, my brain went to first thing playing devil's advocate. Is this just like a Gen Z thing where they
Well,
need to put
that's the other thing. Part
everything
of
online?
as soon as I say that, this is how teens express. This is again, as a teen, you're learning how to deal with these adult complex emotions. You're kind of play acting them. You don't understand kind of the depths and all of the things that goes with adult life. So you're kind of play acting. But at the same time, teens that are really going through stuff tend not to put it again on TikTok. A lot of the parents that are dealing with the sextortion stuff and the things like that, they aren't putting the fact that they're being bullied or cyberbullied online. To their parents, their feed looks normal, and then all of a sudden they have a terrible, terrible tragedy or almost tragedy. So it's just very superficial. Grief doesn't look like this. And if you've been through real grief, this isn't what it looks like. And you might not be able to verbalize it, but this is very performative. It's very shallow. Real grief knocks the gravity out of you, takes your oxygen out. I legitimately have years I don't remember of my life because my brain was in survival mode. So this just is not that.
And I've seen kids cry and from grief, not just like I hurt my
Yeah.
foot, like I fell off the playground kind of grief, but like actual, I lost a parent grief. And they still didn't look like this. And even if you can't describe what about it doesn't look right, the average person can just look at it and be like, "This is not right." Like, and I know my mom and I fight sometimes, but that eulogy, I would never be able to say complete sentences if my mom died. Like, I was on with Shizzy a couple weeks ago, or not a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, after the Charlie Kirk incident, and we were watching the news conference, and I was getting teary-eyed then, and I was muting myself because I was not even able to make complete coherent sentences, and I did not even know him. So, to think of my own family, and I would never be able to.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think once you walk through something like that, and we're social creatures, as much as I'm an inside cat that isn't a peopler, we're social creatures. Your mind is very good at picking up on very subtle and, you know, uh, very subliminal kind of things. There is something about her facial features that are not, communicating grief in an authentic way. And I'm not, fully sold on the bodyology, body language thing, but it is true that whether we can verbalize it or not, there is something that is not right about this.
Well, and like I'm like you, I don't completely buy into like the body language, like, oh, this proves you're lying or this proves you're telling the truth. But there are universal things where you can look at somebody and be like, you're confused, you're sad, you're happy, the corners of the mouth go up when, you're actually happy versus when you're faking a smile and you're like, you know,
Well, notice how even her skin tone is. Again, people tend to flush. There tends to be, even people that are darker than I am, there tends to be a flush. There tends to be blood rushing to your sinuses. You tend to sound stuffed up. You know, there are things, your breathing pattern changes. None of that is present
A
here.
teen is back in.
I don't use TikTok ever. So I didn't realize if you're on the video and you scroll, the next one will start playing. I had to go back over to the comments and scroll.
Oh, I can barely understand Reddit. I'm not about to try to learn TikTok too.
Like I don't do TikTok. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Like I don't see the difference between TikTok and like just use Instagram Reel. It's one less app you got to have. Like Facebook Reels. Just it's one less app. Um Tammy, this is the case of Sarah Grace Patrick from Carroll County, Georgia, or Carrollton, Georgia. It's the town of Carrollton in Carroll County. It's confusing. But she is accused of unaliving her mother and stepfather with her 5-year-old at the time half sister in the house. And she then, between the time the crime happened and when she was arrested for the crime, posted all these TikToks because she was a TikToker. She had quite the following. Posted all these TikToks about how she was grieving and nothing, just like, look at these. This is the one that stands out the most besides her eulogy. That this is just not, there's just, you can look at this, like any random person can look at this and be like, this is not, something's not right here.
Yeah.
If I ever admitted to crying, I'd say my nose runs as much as my eyes. Thank you, Snipe Hunter, for admitting that you didn't admit it.
And Jeffrey Montgomery, when I get hurt or anxious, I will laugh too. Like instead of crying, I can either cry or laugh. So I completely understand. Mr. Mo knows me, so he knows, like, and I'll excuse myself because as a sentient human, I know that, oh, my reaction is not normal and could be taken really effing wrong. So I'll excuse myself, you know.
And I'm a angry crier. I won't tell someone I'm angry. My body will just start to turn red and tears will come out of my eyes and steam will come out of my ears. That is my We judge people on a nonverbal behavior for our survival. I believe we have a better gut instinct than scientific papers. Yeah, and it's more of an art form than a science. Like there is research to believe 5 universal emotions. I don't believe in this is how if you look up and to the left, you're lying, because everybody has a baseline of their normal behavior, and sometimes it's odd. But being odd isn't illegal.
No.
However, you can all when people say body language completely isn't real at all, it's like, well, how do you look at somebody and you can tell they're uncomfortable, or you can look at somebody and you can tell they're pissed, or you can tell they're happy? It's their body language.
Yeah. And what I will say is that, being more towards the end of get off my lawn than TikTok, maybe this is how teens express their emotion, and I just don't get it because I'm not supposed to, just like 6, 7.
I don't
I,
understand that, and I'm not even going to try to.
nope, not going to try to, just assume I'm too old for this shit and I'm moving on.
Now I understand my parents when they were like, I don't get it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was always like, what do you not understand? Now I understand what they didn't understand. All right. So there was orders back in November, requests to use recording devices. That's been there's more orders and motions in here about recording devices and law and crime specifically than any other.
Well, so my guess is that they're having the same problems that Charlie Kirk was having, or the media and Charlie Kirk, in that the defense is very, very against having cameras, or someone is very against having cameras in the courtroom. And definitely there can be friction. So media does tend to try to file as limited parties, just so they are basically looped into any hearings or any potentially closed hearings. But this change of venue one is interesting.
Yeah. So this is defendant's motion to change venue due to presumptive and actual prejudice caused by extensive pretrial publicity. Okay.
But if your client was the one spreading some of the media coverage, again, you can't. I don't know that you can argue with the fact that your client was kind of accessory to media oversaturation.
And I've had people try to explain that 6'7" to me, and I don't really understand it. The only 6'7" that is ever appropriate is 8'6'7", 5'3", 09". If you get that,
Yes,
you're my kind of people. If you don't,
visit the 80s. They're fun.
You're too
Not
young to be on this
fashion-wise.
channel.
Yeah, why are you listening to us?
TikTok is a pick me place. So she's saying, "Look at me grieving. I'm mad that this is why I don't trust her video, or I'm sad, and that is why I don't trust her videos." Yeah.
Well, but she could also be modeling what other influencers model as grief.
And at the end of the day, it's what to some people. Obviously, my channel is not. It might be an exception to that because I know what gets clicks, and I refuse to talk about it every second of every day. But like here, we have 24 people. I would love for there to be 100 people watching this, but I know that it's New Year's Eve, and 2 of my other favorite streamers are also streaming at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So I'm realistic. But like, I know what gets clicks, and telling some story out of a small town in Georgia sometimes isn't the most click-worthy thing.
Well, and I think that because there really hasn't been any substantive thanks, but I still get carded sometimes when I cry.
I bought more Mucinex today and went to the out thing, and I went to the self-checkout. So when I rang it up, it's like she had to approve it. And she goes, "Oh, I know you're over 18. I was like,
I got carded for this carry cup. They're like, you have to prove that you're over 18. I was like, I'm not even trying to buy Benadryl. What the hell? Now, I do think that they're going to be fighting, the defense is going to be fighting an uphill battle as far as change of venue. I think this, like the Charlie Kirk case, you could argue is a case of nationwide or perhaps potentially international interest, given the TikTok, you know, angle. So basically, what's out there is already out there. You can't put the toothpaste back in the bottle. Uh, I'm guessing the judge is going to say you have the right to voir dire and strike jurors if they show partiality.
And hey, Renee's Retro Relics coming out of lurking to say Happy New Year, and I've been waiting for your coverage on this. Yeah, I've gotten sidetracked with a lot of other stuff. There's a Bad Moms Club member in Alabama that I need to follow up on too. She is accused of unaliving her 7-month-old.
Oh, good night. Yeah, I know that there was that current trial going on with the Botox mom, and I was like, not around the holidays, y'all. Normally, I like to speak for the small victims that no longer have voices, but not around the holidays.
Gail, go look at go look at a tail. Go look at what Mr. Squid came in here and said, "How long are you gonna or how long have you been streaming?" I said 36 minutes. He goes, "How long are you gonna be streaming?" He goes, "Stream for a couple hours, take your time." And I was like, "What's going on in my house?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." Like, what's going on in my house? Like, what's happening? What's happening? Oh, I need an emotional support kitty.
Well, he's coming over here because he thinks the heater's on my chair. It's not so much love as, oh, you have the heater on.
He's cleaning more floors. I don't know. Maybe he'll discover that I have the sauna blanket. And I told him that he can use the sauna blanket whenever he wants because the sauna blanket will take away some of the pain that, you know.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. I bought a Christmas gift for myself. It's a sauna blanket. It's like a big ass blanket you just lay in and it heats up.
Ooh.
Not like a heated blanket, but like a sauna.
I've thought about that, but I see people laying on their bed just sweating into this bag, and I think about like all the sweat you juice that you're just sitting.
I have a blanket liner that's in it. So I just take that out and then I throw that straight into the wash.
That makes more sense because I'm just like, it's the same reason I don't like tanning beds because I'm just icked out by the whole thought.
He's taking the kitchen counters apart to see if he can find the ring. Yeah, right. Last time I'll mention that this year. Yeah, I'll hear about it tomorrow. I still can't find my engagement ring. It's been 6 months now.
Look in the vents. I swear to goodness, youngest, most feral decided to we have an older house where the vents are on the floor, and he decided to hide my very expensive custom, like most expensive thing I've ever owned ring. And then I got this smart idea, and when you give in and you're like, I'm going to size this up. Look, let's be real. Like, we have our dream jeans, but it's been 3 years. Let's just get a ring that fits. So I got it sized up, and then I found the magical Dumbo feather of weight loss. So now it's coming off all the time, and I'm like, God dang it.
They do make little things on Amazon that are ring adjusters.
I know, I just forget to buy them. I buy puppets instead. Nothing functional, just
and wigs.
Random stuff.
Hey, Squabob, thanks for the $3 super sticker. Appreciate you so much. All right, so this pretrial publicity, blah, 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 blah. Let's say that 10 times fast. My English is... I'm amazed at people who can speak multiple languages because I speak English and English only, and I have a problem with that.
Baker's over here, like, it's pronounced this way, and I was like, I failed Hooked on Phonics.
But But there some things will come out so easily, and then other things is like, you can't say that. Like I can say pecuniary, but I can't say procedural most of the time.
Judicial is always mine. It sounds like I get all that spit, and then it sounds like I'm just like got. I
And
always feel.
no, I'm so glad you brought that up, guys. There are some things where I literally have a hard time saying it because I feel like I'm going to spit when I say it.
Yeah, judicial is the word for me. And then analyst. For some reason, I'm always tempted to say analyst, but no. And the bad thing is, if you're dyslexic, I know Nick brought it up, and I'm not covering the trial, but the Lauren Matthias with the hidden true crime, I always see THC and not HTC, and I'm like, they're talking about weed an awful lot. And I'm like, oh no, that's different. Never mind.
Yes, and thanks Squab for the 2 gifted Squid Pro Quo memberships. I can't even say my name sometimes when I'm saying memberships. Like it'll be blah, 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 and I'm like, wait, I can't say the name of my own channel. When did this happen? But I think Mr. Squid, he hates YouTube, but I think he likes the channel and me having the channel because I talk about things to you, to YouTube in general, and I don't have to talk to him.
Yeah, that's kind of like Mr. Mo. Now he still gets bombarded with like trial talk, but not to the extent he did before I had a channel. He's like, I'm glad you found weird people that like your stuff.
So here's the general procedural history. I can say it in one word, but sometimes when it's in a sentence is when it goes haywire. July 8th, Patrick turned herself into Carroll County Sheriff's in connection with the death of her parents. Carroll County Grand Jury returned a true bill indictment on August 19th. Defendants charged with malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault. Since July 2025, this case has generated an unprecedented amount of online attention, including dedicated Facebook groups, true crime forums, live stream commentators. Hi, it's me. And national media coverage from sources such as Court TV and People.com. I like how they say Court TV and People.com, but they leave out Law and Crime, who's literally written motion this trial.
That's why they're writing motions, because they weren't mentioned in this particular thing, and they got butthurt.
Like, hey, Mitch, how are you? Fine.
I mean, I honestly wouldn't put it past Law and Crime, allegedly. I mean, they got so butthurt Ricada was getting better numbers than them that they sued him or tried to copyright strike him.
Yeah, it's crazy. Hung Hero, thank you for the 20 gifted Squid Pro Quo memberships. Turning the chat green as always. Like, oh my goodness. Oh, Bruce got another membership. Speak of the devil, I gotta go into my my control room because I didn't see who got them. Oh my goodness, somebody screenshot that. Angry Vet got one too. Bruce Matskin 2950 got a gift membership from Hung Hero. Happy New Year, Bruce. You get to start with 30 days of my members only content. And
there you go. Christmas miracle belated.
Sorry. Hey, Birdway. Too funny.
You know, he only showed up in my chat once, and I think he was offended I didn't know who he was. He's like, do you know who I am? And I'm like, I'm guessing Bruce because of your name. And he's like, no, do you know who I am? And I was like, again, perhaps my tone of voice and general facial expressions aren't conveying that I don't know who you are, but no, I don't. I think he was upset I didn't know who he was.
Andy will get a notification. Hey, Mom, how are you? Oh my goodness. Like, these gift memberships really be outing people. They are. But he was mad that day for a whole host of reasons. But he just goes to start trouble places. And it's like,
I have chores if he's that, without a purpose in life.
That's called you have no other job to do.
Yeah,
Like you
I've
have
got
no.
laundry, baseboards. I don't think my house has ever had the baseboards actually dusted by hand. I'm
When we first moved into this house, I took um, a magic eraser and a dryer sheet. Magic eraser, dryer sheet. Dryer sheets are amazing at cleaning baseboards,
and they
just in
make
case you need to
smell
give your
good.
fine just going through the car wash. Well, you want to drop your car off and take mine too? Show the derailed pic. Oh my God. Oh, y'all crack me up. Oh, yeah, I get derailed. So what? It's fun. Life is YouTube at the end of the day is supposed to be fun. And I have fun. Because making fun of Bruce is fun. He talked about my kid, so
Oh,
that's how I got started talking about the Hales topic. Was I was on with
Oh,
some other person, and all that person asked me about was, how do you feel about the case? And I said, I'm not really paying attention, except I'm worried about the child. And it was Bruce's okay to mention my daughter walking around in the back of my stream at the time with an Apple Pencil, laughing about the possibility of her choking on an Apple Pencil. And then went on the 2 fleas on a dog, or
oh
the
God.
what I call the 2 thunder see you next Tuesdays, and said it again, and someone clipped it, and even Megan played it on her stream and was like, y'all you making fun of so the
Yeah.
reason I started talking about it is not because I liked either side. The case interested me in general, but it was to piss off Bruce because he tried to intimidate me not to talk about something, and I don't take kindly to threats. So you
No,
talk
I
about
do hope there is forward momentum in that case because I will say it's hard to see people what appears to be what appears on the surface to be deliberate shenanigans to frustrate the course of justice and waste time.
wasting
That's
time. Oh my
irritating.
God. They're like experts at wasting time. Like
Now,
crazy.
now, Squid, not on the document side, but there have been rumors and scuttlebutt, as it were, around the interwebs that the parents, the mom and stepdad, were involved in not street legal pharmaceuticals.
Yes, all I could find on that, and I did look it up, and let's see if I saved any information on that. The stepdad I believe, had charges. I don't know if he was ever found guilty, found innocent. I don't know if the charges were dropped, but I believe he was charged with a possession of a street pharmaceutical.
Okay.
So there had been rumors, and I believe I saw it, but I can't remember because it's kind of been like so little information that it was like I expected some
Well,
more information to come out.
I didn't, to be honest. If there was chaos that led to any sort of involvement with DCYF or the Department of Children's Services, my guess is those would have been sealed documents, so we wouldn't know about that until the trial. Should the defense try to bring it up for mitigation, or again, because I mean, at this point, I don't know where the defense is going to go with this because we don't really know where the state's going with this. So it's hard to figure out a strategy.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I haven't done many streams on it is the documents they're there, but there's like even this is not like Florida or Wisconsin where these judges are writing like 20-page documents just to hear themselves like talk and explain. This judge is like straight to the point. There was a motion in limine that we'll get to. I looked at was only like a page long. I'm like, I've never seen a 1-page motion in limine before. So, Timothy said that one of the best things you have said, Squid, trying to intimidate Squid is like yelling at a rock. The rock don't care, neither does Squid. Yeah. When you're standing in front of a pissed off Master Chief and he's yelling at you like you're the worst person on earth, and why did your mother ever have you kind of situation? Nothing else kind of compares to that, especially random people on the internet.
Nah, no.
Nope. When you're in boot camp and people are asking you why you bothered to be born.
Yeah. Yeah, and we went to basic, you went to boot camp, I went to basic before before they gave the stress cards. Like, where was this magical effing stress card? Like, I need 5-minute break to center my chakras or whatever the F.
We had 3 hours on Sunday to do whatever we wanted. And it was more like hide under your rack. And if the RDC comes in and finds you, he better not be able to see anybody when he looks around the room.
I remember going to all the different denominations because they had different kind of cookies. Not gonna lie.
Did you see this comment from Squaw Bob?
No, look, I already am gonna have to lie to whatever future daughter-in-law that he was a perfect child and not tell her anything that he did so that I get grandchildren. And then when she comes up to me and says, grand, youngest, most feral did X, Y, or Z, I'm going to have to pretend to be shocked. But there's videographic evidence, I'm sure, by that time of the millions of youngest, most feral stories. So.
So they have in here presumed prejudice. The definition: Georgia courts look to size of the community, nature of the publicity, extent of the dissemination, and degree to which media coverage is inflammatory. The Supreme Court recognizes this doctrine where publicity creates trial atmosphere that is utterly corrupted. I don't think in that little town. I'm sorry. I don't think in that little town it's possible.
Well, I could see the pros and cons of staying within the town. Maybe the town is privy to more of the background knowledge, and that's favorable to Sarah Grace. Now, obviously, since they're going for moving the venue, I'm guessing that public sentiment for her is not that great in the town, or at least it's bad enough that they're looking to change it. The problem is what is the court going to define as media? And here's where she's on slippery water. The courts really haven't defined independent creators and things as quote unquote media for the purposes of sort of, dissemination of opinions and things like that. So until that's kind of ironed out statutorily, I don't think they can use the sort of, TikTok, YouTube as quote unquote media.
And you brought up a good point earlier. What happens when your client is the media?
Yeah, when your client is the facilitator of the nexus of all of these stories being made, again, how much play would this have gotten if she didn't appeal to TikTok? It possibly would have
appealed to TikTok. She reached out to individual true crime creators.
Well, and there's where she went wrong. She didn't recognize the weaponized tism that she was opening on her case.
That's a good point. So, factual basis, national and regional court UV. This includes background speculation, repeated references to guilt, and thumbnails depicting Miss Patrick in custody. References to guilt, I don't think they do anything different than any other person does.
No,
Law and Crime made a whole documentary series about her.
Well, and I think that again, this is a whole kind of new frontier with media coverage and trials becoming more publicized, almost like their own kind of media or sports game. We're really going to have to look at this in a whole different way. I don't think statutes, I don't think a lot of this has caught up to the technology. So I think we are going to start seeing more of these kind of need to make statutes to define, who is considered a journalist, for the purposes of this. Where is that line for independent creators? Is it the same as actual factual media, you know, for under legal definitions? What is this? Where does free speech end for an independent content creator, versus a, corporate media style? So I think there are a lot of things that statutorily haven't been thought about. Uh, and I think state congresses, and federal congresses are going to need to get off their asses and maybe do something functional like pass a law or something.
God forbid they actually work.
Yeah,
Well,
that
and
would be
that opens
hard.
a whole nother can of worms too, because if state legislatures and even the national legislature, whatever they decide to do, that opens a can of worms in the journalism space about like terms of service. Will we stop having to use the words pew pew and
Yeah.
unalived and all of these words, or can we use the actual words? I mean, I use them occasionally because I found out that the algorithm doesn't like have an issue with it specifically, but if you use too many words in one short period of time, that's when
Well,
I
and
run into issues.
yeah, and then it's also the problem that I can't show any videos like of current breaking news if it involves any sort of violence. But CNN, ABC, Fox News, like I know that people were getting dinged when they were showing the Kirk live feed footage, but Fox didn't get dinged.
Yeah, just look at Andy from Popcorn Planet and the Blake Lively case. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
can of worms in itself there too. But there's been 4 major television stations in Atlanta have also covered the events surrounding the crime, the investigation, and arrest. Welcome to committing a crime around a major city.
Well, and it's not, patricide is not a normal thing. Again, if you think about, we would tend to think about this being a young, antisocial teen male thing. The fact that it's a young, some attractive looking girl is kind of, it does subvert your expectations. So therein, because it's different, it's going to garner attention.
And this is when I have a problem with people commenting on things, and this is my personal opinion. This is where we love to disagree with I love to disagree with the chat. Um like this is where I try to keep even when I'm covering a case, inflammatory language, even though I might have my own personal opinions and say things off camera. Um Comments expressly declaring guilt and insulting Miss Patrick. A comment, quote, stupid ass girl had her baby sister find them, POS in my book. Um, it's like, these are things that like might seem innocent to the person commenting and might seem like no big deal, but defense attorneys can use these things for
Yeah.
reasons such as this. And I don't ever want to be the news.
Well, no. But I think the state has also created fertile ground for us to speculate by not releasing any evidence, alluding to a mountain of evidence. And I get that there are, we are trying not to taint the jury pool, but when the state's the only voice you can listen to, because typically the defense is gagged by the rules of professional conduct, it is kind of hard. And it is generally hard to explain to people who don't typically watch trials that the presumption of innocence is not, because a lot of people go in, she has to prove her innocence. And to explain the concept that the defense doesn't have to do anything is a really hard concept for some people to get.
And honestly, like there is a case to be made. I mean, I don't blame the defense for being like, "Hey, move it." Especially when local Facebook groups with thousands of Carroll County residents discussing guilt.
Yeah, so there again, they need to be able to tie it back to Carroll County because what I don't like is that the defense didn't put, they just put the random statements. They didn't indicate that these were thoughts of people in the potential jury pool.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think they should have put um they put where they expressing emotional investment from local residents. Well, they have Exhibit G, so maybe they actually have it in there that I'm.
Well, and it could be possible that because this particular part is, open to the public for privacy's sake for the people that are, making the comments, that's sealed in an exhibit.
And I really wish Georgia would just be easy with documents and not having to you know, pay.
Yeah.
Because I downloaded I put a document in my cart and just to see how much it would be, and in Athens County it's $5 a page. I'm
Holy
like,
crap.
oh,
You know
we
what?
ain't we're balling on a budget here.
I swear if there was a service that collated all of the major trial documents in one place and charged like a flat fee of $20 a month, I would pay that.
Ooh, business idea.
Yeah, if only I could understand computer magic.
Well, that too.
I have the idea. Can someone learn coding for me?
Proceedings, and this is where it's like you can't just easily it
Have
seems
there
like
been
it's an easy
any
site to navigate, but whoever programmed their site and coded it didn't help.
Well, have there been any responses from the judge as to any of the defense's motions? Because we
Yeah,
are
there
getting
was
close to
a
the trial.
so there is a on 11/13 there's an order. I'll just read his orders because it's just
Okay.
quicker
Yeah,
and
because
it's easier from a technology perspective because see, and they some of them they have viewable and some they don't. So this is
and
what's
that's
weird.
odd that the orders aren't viewable.
Yeah, and I don't understand why. I think they're
I mean, they might be getting overloaded with a bunch of true crimers, trying to get ready for the trial.
yeah, and I think this is where it's like hard to where it's like, and I looked on Peach Court because that's where I started when I started searching for this is Peach Court. It's like Kentucky courts, but they have the case information, but they have no documents, or at least they didn't.
Huh.
So it's like I'm gonna have to log out and log back in because we're going to
I
we're gonna see if it's just a because I was on that one page for too long. You know how things get funky. This is what I
Yeah, no.
highly
What I
dislike
think
about. Oh,
well,
it logged me out. That's why.
there's some reasons that I like not doing the pretrial hearings before I go into the case because it is kind of refreshing for people to go in and I'm like, look, y'all, I know very little about this case. I'm going to make the state prove their case. I'll call balls and strikes. But some cases like let's see, the Buzzard case, the Kirk case, and the Skelton case are ones that, and the Park case are ones that I want to do pretrial because they seem like really dense cases.
And there's something to be said for the difficulty of doing that too, because I found like covering things from the beginning, like I was covering the Christopher Schultz case in Arizona from the beginning. Arizona is hard to get documents. You actually have to have someone go to the courthouse, but also he took a plea deal and then did the self deletion thing. I was covering Mia Bailey in Utah, took a plea deal.
That is the hard thing.
So it's like I feel like I have to have like a pool of cases because not all of them are going to go to trial. But the problem is if all of them go to trial, now I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a balancing act, and when I figure it out, I'll let you know.
And then I'm still new at this. So it's like,
I think it's whatever works for you. Some people like, and I think you'll get the feel, and it's kind of a hit or miss thing. Like, all of a sudden the case will, because I would have never predicted the Karen Reed case would be the one that causes all the drama llama in the world.
And now Turtle Boy and all his stuff.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
I was
Baker's
watching
like,
the expert stream last night when I was laying in the sauna blanket, and I'm just like, how do you keep up with how do people keep up with all this? Because I am like if I miss a detail, I'm confused.
yeah, there's a lot of, well, it's so interconnected, and I don't know.
So we're gonna bring them all in here.
All right. This is the third, well, she's taking care of family stuff. I know how that goes. Third order on request to record proceedings. Parties are ordered to notify the respective witnesses of said request. Prosecutor shall also notify alleged victims. Any party, witness, victim who wishes to object to the request must do so in writing or on record before the start of proceedings. It's further ordered that requesting news organizations or other members of the media seeking to record November 17th proceedings, and that hearing was only like 3 minutes long. It was sent to me, but it was like nothing happened.
No.
Shall be required to pool recording devices. Press pool should be no more than one camera, one microphone, one recorder. Video and audio recordings broadcast shall only be permitted when the judge is on the bench. That I like that. I like that idea. One, it saves time because you're not like waiting for people to talk and you think people are going to talk, and then they go back and look at the camera or the clock. And hey, Fletcher boy, how are you? This is a fun stream. I hope Mo will come and do it again. Me too.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know anything about the Sarah Grace Patrick case, but then Dave was like, "You should look into it," and I was like, "Okay."
Second cup trying to wake up. Where are you? This is where it's like, welcome to technology, because it logged me out again. Apparently, every time that I hit the back button, it logs me out. So I got to figure out how to do this differently.
I do wonder, I don't think the change of venue is going to happen if the state can prove, because typically what they do to disprove this is the state will send out questionnaires and ask people like, do you have preconceived notions? Have you heard of this case? And if it's above a certain percentage point per capita, I believe, they're allowed to stay in that county, because there is a possibility that if they spread the jury pool far enough, they will find a jury within that area.
So on 11/19, there was a motion for continuance. And then there was a motion, another motion. This is the judge's order denying the request for a continuance. Like, okay. Presented before the court, defendant's request for continuance. Defendant generally asserts items of discovery have not been turned over, and that the case therefore cannot be ready for trial on January 5th. The state filed its response to defendant's motions for continuance on November 20th, where the state indicates that the motion has been diligently turning over discovery, responding to defense questions and concerns regarding discovery, and will continue to do so. The court conducted a telephone conference with counsel for the state and defense November 21st. Counsel for both parties waived oral argument and asked for the court to rule on the request for continuance based on the filings. Where a criminal defendant elects to proceed under Georgia's Criminal Procedure Discovery Act, as this defendant did, the state is generally required to produce discovery at least 10 days prior to trial. That seems like a short amount of time, but
it does, and I have heard from defense attorneys kind of off the record, not like I talked to a bunch of them, but the state can slow walk discovery in order to, you know, just hinder your case.
And that is true. And if y'all haven't subscribed to Mo in the Deep End, what are you doing with your life? Where have you been? Have you been living under a rock? Y'all need to get with it and fix yourselves. Here is her link. Go subscribe.
Thank you.
I can't grift for myself, but I can grift for
I
everybody
know.
else.
I am trying to work on it. I'm taking Baker's griftology course. That's because I don't know. And I'm pretty sure if I get a phallic baguette, Mr. Mo will divorce me. Like, of all those shenanigans I've already ordered, I'm pretty sure that, I mean, because he has a talking piece, but I'm pretty sure should I order any of those, Mr. Mo will leave.
Yes, right here. And then we have Heidi, who's like the best mod besides Wolfram. She learned from Wolfram.
Yes.
So I stole her partially. I'm glad that she's allowed to share her time with me. So you're doing good, Squid. I'm seeing a different side of you. I live under a crystal peen rock. Jeez.
Well, I mean, I assume that's what the Netflix reboot of Fraggle Rock is going to be.
And Mo in the Morning with the Newsy News even has possum wisdom.
Yes. Yeah, I got the book. Me Pearl wrote a book. And I'm only 5 pages in, and I'm not sure how many quaaludes were actually used to write this. But I'm like, why the hell haven't I written a book?
Where did you find that?
It's on Amazon. Oh my God. Best, I think it was $13, $15. I don't know. Best money I've ever spent.
That's amazing.
I know.
Yeah, nothing like Mo watching Me Pearl.
I have found the perfect wig. I have found a possum stuffed animal. This is happening.
Oh my God. Speaking of things happening, Sarah Boone, finally her whatever her defense or her appellate attorney is supposed to do, her documents are due in like a couple of weeks. If they ever get released, would you want to read those with me?
Oh my God, yes. I can't wait for her Sarah Boone My Struggle, because it's going to be longer. She's actually going to finish her compendium before George R.R. Martin.
Oh, part of the content that I haven't gotten to, I have the entire transcripts of her trial, including the sidebars.
Well, that's what Shizzy and I, because we have the transcripts. Have you seen those Sarah Boone puppets?
I have not.
Okay. Now, I would like to say that I'm probably on a couple federal lists. Not that that's a bad thing. I was already on them. But I'm pretty sure only Shizzy and I and some unlicensed child psychologist have bought these particular puppets. But they're emotion puppets. And we really only need one of them.
Because it just somebody on my front porch. Sorry. Sidebar.
It captures the booniness of it all. It's got her hair, the stiffness. It's incredibly lifelike.
I was taken down by a suitcase.
I need to find like a Barbie or American Girl doll suitcase and add googly eyes to it, and then we have the whole cast. But
John asked, does the puppet come with a suitcase?
No, I'm making my own suitcase on a stick with googly eyes.
Wait. Sorry. Mom, you hit a possum yesterday?
Look, I know possums are good for the environment, but them things look demonic.
We trapped one at our old place, like not the last place we lived, but the one before it. before we had kids or a kid. And we tried to relocate it, and the only place it got relocated was Possum Heaven. Because trying to relocate it was not going to work out.
No. I mean, again, I contend that if God wanted us to respect it as a creature, maybe don't make it look demonic and have it hiss and go, you know, maybe make it cuter, because armadillos are cute. I mean, they're not cuddly, but they're cuter than possums. Changed my mind.
I've never actually seen a live armadillo. They usually just have rigor mortis on the side of the road.
We're going to have a roadkill beauty contest.
I've never seen one living, but they literally just, I've only seen them as roadkill, but they're not
Do
crushed.
they curl up like pill bugs?
No.
I know this is probably...
tail straight out. You know.
And now that I've found me, Pearl, and I have seen my future, my mascot is going to be a possum. Like, how is my mascot an animal I'm terrified of?
All right, this was the I figured out how to do it without getting logged out every time. There's this little X in the corner right here underneath my my logo that I can hit. And it will, that was the state's response, but
okay.
There's just defendant's request for certificate of immediate review. What? What? Some of these things I'm like, how do you, come on.
Yeah, that's the problem with the federalist system. I mean, I'm a fan of it, but because each state can adopt their own terms of art and like slightly different wording for things, you're like, the hell is this? Like, I'm like, are we looking at Black's Law Book? What the hell is a bill of particulars? Who the hell knows? Get me my land boat. See, Squid's over here buying Law's Black Dictionary, and I'm over here buying
my chat
the
bought
wisdom
it for me.
from a dead squirrel.
My chat bought it for me. I had an Amazon list for a housewarming gift, and I have a section in there that's continuing education or lifelong learning, and I put that in there. It's all stuff I'm going to buy eventually.
You're going to have to show me how to set up a wish list without showing all of my personal information, because I am so confused. And I feel kind of weird making a wish list when, look, these are all things I can save my fun money up for. Like,
and that's kind of what my wish list is my wish list is shit I'm going to buy anyway. However, if you want to support my channel without giving your money to YouTube, there's a way to do it. So, and Squad Bob, thanks for the one gifted membership. This is respectfully moves this court to certify its order dated December 1st, denying defendant's motion to change the venue is such an importance to this case that immediate appellate review of the order should be had. Oh, a proposed certificate of immediate review is attached.
And that was on the 1st of December. I'm thinking between, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but between the neuropsych evaluation, because the introduction of a neuropsych evaluation, they could either be going for competency, which I think would be a hard sell given that she has been seen able to comport herself in court.
Motion in limine. Getting rid of removed from any recorded source, including recorded statements of the defendant for Joshua Skinner, irrelevant and prejudicial comments, including but not limited to all comments relating to the defendant, quote, texting or having smexy time with other guys. And this is the first time that I've heard a name other than hers.
Yeah, I hadn't seen another name. Skinner hasn't been anything. I mean, all the articles and everything ChatGPT has been able to pull up references her parents. The sister is mentioned, just mentioned, but not named. But yeah, and this makes sense again if, but this does lead me to, and I don't know how the state has to tread very carefully here. Because while we are post Me Too kind of oversaturation, there is an there is a very big danger in trying to go after a girl for promiscuity in this day and age.
Yeah. And then, or any reference to defendant's alleged smexy time behavior or promiscuity. All videos, posts, or pictures depicting or alluding to the behavior of the defendant. All comments relating to defendant's illicit street pharmaceutical use or hiding of that or paraphernalia related to it. Information
I
is
mean,
irrelevant to a determination of guilt or innocence. Yeah,
it could depend. They have to use the classic, prejudice or probative versus prejudicial. And unfortunately you can't fight the facts in a case. If she was, you know, acting wild, being a teenager, maybe taking it a little far than typical teenageness with the smexy times.
Cynthia has a comment for you.
Oh, yes, I have been trying to figure out. I know you guys are going to be shocked. I am dead awful at all computerology.
I will
Like
show you.
I have, and so I got this, that makeup that they're like, oh, it'll match your skin tone with a quiz. I have been trying to cancel the auto ship on that for 6 months. And they're like, no, we'll send you another color. It's the same damn color. And then I think about it the day I get the box and I'm like, I need to cancel that. And then I forget about it again.
Yeah,
So I need to.
I I'm like that too. Like I'll forget about stuff and then it's like, oh wait, you have like 8 boxes of razors because you forgot to cancel your subscription or your it's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, or you forget that you ordered something on subscription because it's $2 cheaper and you promised yourself you were going to cancel it. You put it
I
on like 6 months so you knew that you would have time to remember to cancel it.
I did actually do that today, or not today. Last time I bought something, I bought some collagen masks because I got to get rid of this WTF line and I really don't want to get Botox. But I bought them and it was on subscription and I'm like, let me just go in and cancel because I'm going to forget to cancel. And in 3 months, they're going to charge my cart. And I'm just like, I'm already like.
Well, the problem is that it actually is the perfect tone for the kind of slightly jaundiced Sarah Boone look. So I do kind of need it, and it blends well when I want to do a slightly darker but not fully Canadian Prime Minister look.
I mean, there's an app for that.
Yeah, I need to look, I am going to try to be a much more functional human being. But at this point, I got through this year without needing bail money or having a snapped episode, and it was quite close.
There's still a few hours left.
Yeah, yeah.
Knock
But
on wood.
I run out of the ability to while I have the thoughts, I don't have the motivation to get up out of bed to act on them. So
That's true too. I'm like that. It's like that's part of the reason that like I don't care about certain things like
I'm
trolls
like
and
my
stuff.
laziness saves all of you.
That's it. I'm too lazy to care.
My lack of motivation is the safety net that you all didn't know you deserved or required. I need
So
I need to make that a t-shirt. I need to get back on merch. Y'all, I'm trying, but honest to goodness, I suck out loud with Canva and I'm trying to think of cool fonts, and then I get overwhelmed with fontology, and I'm just like, I'm done.
Let me put my big ass book on the shelf. Oh,
Do not eat all that candy.
uh,
Well, I know,
ask,
but I got it for your dad and I to share when we're watching Stranger
ask
Things.
Megan about snail slime. No thanks.
You know, it worked. I got it for $9. I I mean, I don't know if it worked. Look, like everything in my life, I start off really strong. I bought myself like because I was like, oh, I'm getting older. I need to have like a facial routine of some sort. In my bid to be functional as a human. So I got myself like this little Korean beauty set because apparently the Korean beauty stuff is the best beauty stuff or something. I don't know. I can't even read the damn bottles. But there's like 8 damn steps to this. And I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to have wrinkles.
Well, with that, I have watched some videos on Korean skincare, and even the Koreans say just because there is 8 to 10 steps does not mean that you have to do all of them. So I would start with maybe 2.
Good idea.
But John brings up a good point. Have Rosalind help you with merch.
I do, but she helps me. She helps me, and I feel bad because she actually has like real people that pay her, and I'm just like, please, sir, can I have another T-shirt? And I'm trying to learn these skills on my own. Like, I want to be semi-functional on my own until I can afford an assistant.
You can always use Chat GPT to come up with like hey, I say this all the time, but it sounds weird in merch. Can you shorten it to make it merch worthy?
You know what? I didn't even think of that. That's probably because I want to sure I have ChatGPT or Grok, I can't remember which, made me a really cute miniature donkey with a service animal vest that's sparkly and teal. And I want my t-shirt to say, be your own emotional support ass.
Love it.
Well, Mr. Mo wouldn't approve the actual purchase of a miniature donkey for a gag. Can you believe it?
Timothy has a merch idea for you. T-shirt saying humaning is hard.
Yes.
Humaning is hard.
Humaning in humidity is hard.
Yes, this is my hey Chucky, how are you? This is my I'm working on stay in your own lane merch.
That's the other thing, because I was getting, you know how comparison is always the thief of joy, but you like see people and you're like, oh, look at this person, they can cover everything, or look at Baker, he can cover all the trials, and you have to step back and say, okay, but he doesn't have my life.
I look at Fizzy and his intro is for everybody and his different intros, and I'm like, look at that. And I'm like, how does he do? And I was like, girl, you got to start with like 1. Like,
yeah, it's, but always look at, because I've done this, always look at where you started. If you look at my first videos on my channel, legitimately, I look like I'm being held hostage. You're like, Mo, blink if you are okay. I might do a rewatch of my first things. I need to do that. I had to stop doing
how many times I've said on this channel, hey, can someone go ask Mo if I can borrow Lord Chippy?
Lord Chippy Rentals, we're going to franchise out.
My dog doesn't bite, but I do.
My dog doesn't have rabies, but I do. Want to tangle? My dog and I, one of us have rabies. Want to guess which one?
Heidi, be your own emotional support asshat. Punctuation changes everything.
Oh no, not punctuation. No. I am the bane. I was the bane of all grammar teachers. I have never met a run-on sentence I didn't love. If I could make an entire paragraph out of one overly complicated, overly wordy sentence, my goal was met.
So, getting back to the motions, The judge denied the request for a certificate of immediate review.
Yeah, again, they had to illustrate that there was no possible way. Again, I think it is actually kind of, for as much as lawyers hate numbers, uh, localities and statutes have it quantitated. So you have to indicate like this percentage of the, jury pool claims they are tainted. This percentage of the jury pool says they're clear.
What's weird is they're putting their responses. Usually you see a motion, a response, then an order. Here it's motion, order, and then the response. So whoever is putting it on the internet or on the site is
Okay, Squid, there's a trial you need to check out from Georgia, and it will explain everything. The Chris Wolfenberger trial.
oh, that one.
Yeah, like state of Georgia, I have some questions. Do y'all have evidence? Do you keep evidence? Does anyone have a calendar? How
They
many
don't sell
Waffle
red
Houses
Solo cups
are
here.
there? I've never learned more about the ins and outs of the back life of the secret life of Waffle House. Screw the secret lives of Mormon wives. I want the secret lives of Waffle House. That shit would be hilarious. ABC, talk to me. I have a pitch for you. Look, something needs to fill the gap that cops left, and I think Secret Lives of Waffle House.
So instead of doing what the judge in the Charlie Kirk case is doing, it has a standing order on recording proceedings or decorum, and then it's just changing his decorum order as
more
things
things.
evolve. He literally just changed the dates, and it's literally the same order. I'm like, for some reason, I like what the judge in the Charlie Kirk case is doing, and has his standing decorum order, and is just amending it as needed.
Well, I do. So I like the judge. He is, again, I think for certain cases, you need to be very clear about what your standards are. And what I like about the judge in the Charlie Kirk case is that he not only, thoroughly research searches, but then he repeats back and he says, okay, what are you wanting? What are you wanting? And you can tell he's really thinking about things, and he's trying to be as fair and judicious as possible. And I think that being very clear with your orders, applying standards, lets everyone know where they can go. So there's none of this, oh crap, we filmed the jury. Law and Crime, this coming new year, could you make possibly a New Year's resolution to make it sure your camera people know not to film the effing jury? Could we do that, or focus on the defendant for god amounts of times?
It seems like the camera people, instead of just following the judge's order, they try to push buttons, and that they try to find that line and go right up to it. The problem with doing that is you piss off the judge. And if you piss off the judge, we're going to be sending someone in that courtroom live tweeting.
Well, that's the other thing is that if you know it's something the defense doesn't like, I mean, Lori Vallow, the camera's getting kicked out of there. Defense attorneys do not like, a lot of attention on their clients. Learn, do stuff, read. Under no circumstances in the order to be construed as permission for filming, recording, or photographing any other area of the courthouse. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah. Order approving request, but approved no live streaming. So, this was CBS 48 hours. So there's one of these for each. Atlanta News First. There's another order that doesn't have a title. Order limiting access to court file. Defendant filed motion for limitation of access to court file arguing that access by general public to motions filed that contain evidentiary depth would cause harm to integrity of the proceedings and therefore outweigh the public interest, and the state having no objection. Defendant seeks to file substantive evidentiary motions under seal with the clerk of Superior Court until a final disposition has been entered in said case.
So I will say it's there. You can see this many ways. It is interesting that the defense is the one that's wanting to sequester details, very much like the defense in Charlie Kirk. Whereas the defense in Richard Allen's case actually provoked the judge's ire by putting out a media press conference before the gag order had been made official, just to put out some defense-oriented facts about the case.
So, law and crime, but there's the order relating to law and crime. Notice of expert testimony. Ooh. Hopefully this will be. The weird thing is all of these are super short.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if, God, I hope we don't spend a week and a half on infotainment.
Like, it's a half page.
Okay, so again, bringing a professional neuropsychologist, I wonder if there are going to be, again, mental health mitigations brought forward. Maybe traumatic responses as a result of a chaotic childhood, or possible chemical imbalances, or even, things like that. Because the neuropsychologist would mean that to me, using a neuropsychologist and not just a psychiatrist means that there is something physiologically wrong. Like there's an actual diagnosis there, or this expert believes he can make a diagnosis.
Yeah, I go to neuropsychology at the VA. What that tells you about me, I'm really not sure, but you can take of that what you will.
I don't know. Or maybe he's just one of the people that they have, and neuropsychology was what they picked. I don't know.
Neuropsychology is an interesting. It deals like I'm going through it because I had a head injury, so that's why they put me in neuropsych, because physical injury combined with a mental health issue
can change the way that the brain functions, how they use neurotransmitters, and even neuroplasticity. So but it is kind of medically uncharted territory, in that we don't know a lot about how the brain is actually working. We're only starting to unlock a lot of how our brain works.
I have a book right there on the brain. Let's see if it'll. My camera won't chase me today. I have my brain book right there.
Ooh. Yeah, so I mean, again, I know just enough about medicalology to be dangerous.
Me too.
So I'm making a mountain out of, the neuro in it, but that might mean that they actually have CT scans or EEGs that are showing possible brain abnormalities.
That's who also did my testing for like ADHD. More in-depth testing for things like ADHD, ADD than a general practitioner.
Yeah, and again, I mean, because the brain isn't fully developed in a teenager, there might be different protocols, different testing, and you might need to have, more schooling to do these in-depth tests. I don't know.
I've never actually, outside of my own personal experiences with neuropsych, never actually researched much about neuropsych.
I mean, the only thing I've researched is, I am fully willing to be a medical guinea pig for, the medical use of MDA or whatever it is that Joe Rogan takes. and not have to talk about my feelings. I would just like to have a trip and then feel better. Thank you.
I mean, I don't think there's much form that could help me in the being a test, crash test dummy for various things because I think I'm beyond reproach. However, I understand where you are coming from and you wanting to try every.
Well, it's more a thought. Again, there's a difference between a thought and doing it.
That's true too.
Besides, I
I
mean,
always say there's a difference between what goes on in this head and what comes out of this mouth.
yeah, I will say that on high pain days I've noticed that the filter, which I thought I lacked fundamentally, is actually there because I can tell when I'm on high pain days because I'm like, "Oh crap, that was an inside voice thought."
Yes. There's yeah. I had somebody in my comments the other day. I did a football stream or a covering an NIL lawsuit. So it was the sports ball, but it was the sports ball meets the law. And somebody in there was a football fan, but had no idea about the law. And they were like, "Well, they want more than mediation, but that's all they have to start with that because that's what was in the contract." I'm like, "Yes, but that's all they wrote in their motion. I can only go on what they wrote in their motion."
Yeah, and usually mediation is spelled out in your contract. So kind of how that would go, how that would be structured is generally spelled out in your contract. Um,
But they were like, "Tell
Interesting.
me, like you're commenting on it without without knowing what's in the contract." I literally read the contract. Like, tell me
What
you
I
didn't.
what
I'm
I do
like,
hope the state does is put their witnesses in a way that is coherent. I always go to kind of my gold standard, the Darrell Brooks trial. I think that was put together wonderfully. It was an incredibly dense case, and the state actually thought about how to make it easier for the jury to take notes, to receive this really big case, all of this information. So I hope that the state is thinking about that. I get schedules and timing are sometimes off, but especially where a case where we're basically going in blind, I feel like there needs to be kind of a narrative follow through. There needs to be sort of a a logic behind the witnesses.
yeah. And these are all witnesses on state's witness list are subject to being called as witnesses for the defendants. I understand that they have to put it in writing, but it's kind of some of the
Well, I think these are the expert witnesses. So I do think that they have to disclose not only their regular witnesses, but I think these might be
these are
experts.
investigators, and then there's that doctor,
Yeah,
Elizabeth
and
Alderson and Steve Reck. Part of me wants to like go to Google today and
yeah, and they might be with DCYF or something else.
So yeah, Timothy says the relationship between a husband and wife is psychological. One is psycho and the other is logical. You just need to figure out which is which. In my house, we know which is which.
Well, the funny thing is that most of the time I'm fairly logical, but then my ridiculous uterus and hormones that side with it in a stupid, cabal of idiocy, uh, do decide some days to just hijack things, and I will get in a snit over something that wouldn't bother me. So Mr. Mo can generally have like a normal logical conversation, but then like Uno reverse, something pisses me off today.
I get that. I feel like I'm that. Like, that was me the other day. I was like, just burn it all to the ground. I don't care. And then I woke up the next morning and I'm like, thank God someone talked me off a ledge with that one. Damn hormones.
If it
So,
could just give me like a post-it note, like tomorrow you're just gonna be stupid. Like just watch Steel Magnolias, don't get out of bed, drink boxed wine. Like at least then I can plan around the other things.
So, order concerning use of recording devices pursuant to 22. Kevon Stewart, Stephen Heron, and Michelle Mandel. I have no idea who the people are.
Could they be witnesses that decided not? But you wouldn't think that.
Ooh, but it would be interesting having Mo on ETM. Yeah, Tammy, I think I'm gonna start up my little Pain Chronicles series over there. I was starting it over here, and then I got busy. And ETM is my
Is
evidence through motion channel. It's my
Oh,
channel.
yeah. No, that would be great. I didn't want to like invite myself on, but I was like, if you ever need like to show functional movement, because I will tell you and it's so weird because I used to work at a physical therapy pool. I used to help people with gait training and stabilizing through the core functional movements, thinking about breaking down a movement to get up off the floor into separate pieces. And then to actually have to put all those into motion uh, is strange.
The body is a fascinating and scary place. And it's like two people can have the same exact quote unquote issue or diagnosis and be functionally different.
Yeah,
And
and
it's amazing and kind of scary to see.
well, and I think that there does need to be more focus on, and we've completely derailed,
We
but
I have derailed merch for a reason. We're good.
oh, okay. So I think there needs to be, and I don't know, look, I'm not a smartologist person, but as a person who's both worked on the clinical kind of side of chronic pain and now as a patient with chronic pain, the pain scale sucks. Because I told the woman, I was like, okay, so my baseline is what a normal person would probably call a 7. It's now a 5 for me. My 10 is probably a 13 to other people. So I don't know what you want from me. Like I'm able to get out and move. It's a good day. I don't know.
I'm not sitting here screaming at you like I'm going to, it's a day. Like I was fine this morning and then I was drying my hair and all of a sudden like it started hurting and now it's fine. I put my hair up in a ponytail and I'm fine. Like
Well, that's like the doctor. So, I should have said this morning, but lack of sleep. So my heart rate monitor came back. I have like 1% PVCs. So kind of like my heart does a little hiccupy thing, but it's
preventricular contraction for those in the chat.
complexes. But it's always been fairly normal to me. And the doctor went ahead and kind of diagnosed POTS, but the only thing you can do for that basically is like compression socks, and no, those won't work. So I've been doing like just having little bits of chips around because I hate salt.
There's a woman on Facebook. She's the owner of the page for the dog Tucker Budson. She
Okay.
has POTS. And she does a lot of like trying to figure out what has like other sources or other information to help her, and she's got things sort of figured out.
Yeah, and I think it's always been normal for my body because this is always normal. Like I always figured everyone nearly passed out when they stood up because people would say like, "Oh, I get dizzy when I stand up too fast." So I assumed that everyone was to the point where like they're holding on to stuff because it's always been normal to me. But then when I was talking, because my doctor was having me monitor my blood pressure, so it's not normal when you're laying down and resting for your blood pressure to go to 50 over 80.
No, that's clinical. Yeah, Timothy Mo. My entire reason for being here is 60% see baby squid shenanigans and 40% try to derail squid.
I always feel so bad. The chat goes so fast in mornings with Mo, and I am trying to read. I also graduated before No Child Left Behind and failed Hooked on Phonics, so The chat kind of gets a free ride.
I have derailed merch because this happens. I set up a stream, and the whole goal with setting up a stream is to have fun, to get stuff done. But it's not, if I wanted to just get out the information and not like have a conversation and enjoy myself, I would just record a damn video.
Yeah.
You know? But
Who is trying to record?
I'm trying to record on my other channel, but that's
Well, okay, so basically
Oh.
kind of bog standard, no one else is allowed to record other than the pool camera feed.
Name of news media or news agency, media outlet, law firm, or individual representative. News Tips Atlanta. Okay, so those were Atlanta. Approved, no live streaming. Okay. So
And
apparently
this is
those
fairly
were
typical when you have a feed. Basically, they're just saying, we're going to have, a media correspondent in there. Can they take their laptop in? And the judge is saying, okay, you can have a laptop, you can have this, but you cannot, be live streaming, taking photographs, that kind of thing.
I've just never seen this many orders, like separate orders for.
Maybe it's the rule of the court that if you want to be seen as media, you have to register, and this is the way you register.
Probably. There's law and crime. 5th order on request to record proceedings. Let's see if this one changed at all. January 5th, 2026 at 9 a.m. Lacey LaCroix from Law and Crime Network shall be the pool reporter. So Law and Crime is the pool feed. That's good to know.
Do you know if this courtroom has good audio?
It did the last time.
Okay.
I wouldn't say good, but better than most.
Okay, so not to the point where we're gonna like, okay, we can't. This is unwatchable.
Yeah.
Okay,
it's
that works.
Not going to be
Normal for
unwatchable, but
court.
it's definitely I have a stream on the I did stream the hearing. So if anybody wants to go back,
the hearing. I will say the bond hearing was odd. Now, coming from a small rural town with more churches than, well, I think we actually have the same amount of churches and vape shops now, but I do think the churches are winning. That being said, it's not atypical to see this kind of church involvement with everyday life. You typically would have, Sunday, a weekly small group, maybe activities, a Wednesday service possibly. So that's not out of it, but I do think it's easy if you overdo the church angle to arouse suspicion of using religion as a shield.
yeah,
And
I think that they're using religion as a shield.
yeah,
in that last
because I
hearing.
kind of got the impression that her biological father may have had some issues with the law or something like that and had a troubled past, but has now turned his life over to God, which if genuine, good for him if that's something he wanted. Like, I'm not here to be your pastor or Oprah, so.
He actually did an interview with Law and Crime.
Oh.
That I did cover on one of my other. Let me go to my channel dashboard. Content. I have to figure out when it was.
Oh, I know. It's like, what day is today? February?
Like, I didn't realize I had, TikTok teen. There's my play. I have a TikTok teen playlist. It only has 3 videos in it right now, but we'll get there. Bond hearing, but I said another teen killer, Georgia edition. So I'm gonna. Oh, that was my old audio. I'm gonna see if I can. And y'all, this is what I'm looking at. So flash fan, so chump change.
What? Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Come on.
Responded to this
That's the
home
house.
in Carrollton and found the Brocks shot. They were both in their bed. This case went unsolved for months. Kristen's dad, in the days after the murders, offered $5,000 for information that would
See, and this is where I would say Wes. Yeah, the audio is awful. Not like my audio is great now, but it was like it was bad.
It's so hard because you don't hear yourself the way. And sometimes I'm not going to lie, like I don't listen to myself back because it's kind of weird listening to yourself. So when
One of the
people are
reasons
like,
I hate editing.
You have audio problems. I'm like, oh crap. Yeah, I didn't look at it. Sorry. This is entirely my fault. I am humble about it. I'm like, this is entirely my fault. I apologize.
One of the reasons that I hate editing is I hate listening to myself.
I've gotten
last
used to
video
me.
was 4 months ago. The bond hearing. I swear I covered, and it must have been in a case update video, but if I can find it, I'll send.
Well, the other problem I had with, the church or the people speaking on Sarah Grace's behalf, that had just met her after the incident, they don't know her pre to that. Now, I found the testimony of the mother who was, I think, her friend since 7th grade, and then the friend who had a baby at 15 to be slightly more credible, but I still had some issues with it. Again, there's something that I just can't put together with, I love Jesus, I love him, and all I talk about is Jesus, Jesus, and then, not that redemption isn't possible, but I was a skank whore, like in the Olympics to Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
You do need to write a book. It's called the Book of Moisms.
I know, but here's the problem. I forget them as soon as I say them. So I need someone to compile them because I legitimately try to remember them. And I'm like, what the hell did I say yesterday? I don't know. I'll say something new today.
J. Katie Black, your new job. Writing down the Moisms. My dad likes your microphone.
I honestly, Mr. Mo was like, did you check out all the like specs on it? And I was like, sure. And he's like, you bought it because it lights up. And I was like, well, if I have to speak into something phallic, I'd like it to light up.
That's why I have this one. I actually I asked IT Goatee Brad what because he remember those times when he had to jump into my computer because it was broken. It was my mic.
Oh,
that was causing a problem with my computer. Getting confused, and I was like, okay, I'm buying a new mic now. So I'm like, if I'm gonna spend the money now, I'm gonna get a good one. When Papa Squid, don't get any ideas. The Squidlet went nuts for the lamp. What do you think she'll do with a microphone? Yeah, well, I have a lamp right here that changes colors.
Oh, well, I hate to do this, but I promised my kids I would do a crab boil for New Year's, and I have been streaming. So my husband's like, are you gonna cook? And my initial response is, you're not my supervisor, but I did promise them this. So I am going to go out or there will be a mutiny. It's going to be like Attica up in here.
And no problem. I like to keep my streams around 2 hours because that makes it easy for replay crew to not get lost. So I appreciate you hanging out with me today.
No, I appreciate this. And maybe we can do at the end of next week, we can do a weekend roundup of what happened, because I know I'm going to try to do nightly breakdowns, but if you don't look, there are a gajillion and 12 trials. I don't even know what the hell's going on anymore.
I have a 3-year-old. I can't stream all day long. I'll go
Yeah.
nuts sitting here. So when I do trials, I do like a speed play at night where we'll watch it, but we skip all the BS.
Yeah.
So
Well, bye, you guys. Thank you for having me. I am going to pop off now because, like I said, it's going to be Lord of the Flies up in here if I don't get some crab going.
you have a good night. Thanks. Happy New Year.
You too.
Bye. All right, guys. And I think I'm going to hop off of here too. I need to figure out what's going on in my house because, yeah, some things are happening when Mr. Squid comes in here and tells me, "How long are you going to be streaming? Don't worry about it." I get a little concerned. So, I do have a setup to redirect to Shizzy, I think. Let me make sure. Um, yes, he is live. It's his part 2 of his extended stream today. So I will head on over there. Y'all have a great night and a happy new year if I don't see y'all. Tomorrow I am doing a stream at 3:00 on the other channel with Ashley from Cheeky AF podcast, and we are talking about how to get over holiday burnout and being okay with the fact that you gained some weight this Christmas season, the fact that you're tired, and how to recover and kind of start 2026 off with a stress-free and how to kind of get back on track to meet those goals we want to meet, whether they're health, whether they're physical goals, whatever they are. So we will be over there tomorrow. The stream is planned for 3:00. It might be pushed back to later in case like schedules run amok. But I will see you guys over on the other channel tomorrow and go tell Shizzy that I said hi. Happy New Year, guys. Bye.